My book recommendation is Red Notice, a true story of high finance murder and one man's fight for justice by Bill Browder. It's an adult nonfiction autobiography. The author describes his story in a breezy and conversational style, yet the tone of the story is suspenseful and menacing. I couldn't put it down. It's a story about an accidental activist. Bill Browder tells his true life story experiences from personal to business in a candid and detailed way, but succeeds in keeping it fast-paced and riveting. The book begins with the author describing his journey, which starts in Chicago and moved through to Stanford Business School. He then started out his adult life on Wall Street, describing the highs and lows of the investment world in the 1990s. There his instincts led him to Russia just after the breakup of the Soviet Union. His story continued in Moscow, where he entered into the newly available Russian investment market. He describes the creation of his incredibly successful hedge fund, which became the largest foreign investor in Russia. As the story progresses, his life ultimately becomes much darker when he finds himself on the wrong side of some very powerful men. He soon finds out he's doing business in a country that essentially does what it wants with no repercussions whatsoever. His journey shifts into an incredibly complex story of intrigue, corruption, lawlessness, injustice, and murder, all at the hands of the Russian political system, with some truly heartbreaking results. The tragedy that he feels partly responsible for turns Browder into a human rights activist as he seeks justice for victims of Russian human rights violators. His unrelenting quest for retribution is just as engrossing as the rest of his story. Bill Browder's recount of his life journey was both fascinating and chilling. It became a #1 New York Times bestseller, earning an average of between 4 and 5 stars by reviewers. One reviewer wrote, "Now this is an explosive, revealing, and shocking read that had my complete attention from page 1. Bill Browder's account reads like a thriller, but it's nonfiction and is compelling reading for anyone interested in reading about high finance murder and one man's fight for justice in the modern Russia." I completely agree with this reviewer. However, I'm not particularly interested in high finance and business, and before reading it thought that it might be dry or beyond my understanding, given I know little about the world of finance. This was not the case. The writing style is straightforward, yet very compelling. I found it fascinating. I've also read and enjoyed other autobiographies such as Educated by Tara Westover and The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, and found Red Notice to be just as captivating and absorbing. As well, a few read-alikes to note are Nothing is True and Everything is Possible by Peter Pomerantsev, Bad Blood by John Carreyrou, and Billion Dollar Whale by Bradley Hope. If you enjoy reading autobiographies and memoirs, life stories, true crime, or about business and economics, this book would definitely appeal to you. In summary, Red Notice is a financial caper, a crime thriller, and a political crusade. It's the story of one man taking on overpowering odds and, without intending to, finding meaning in his life. An entertaining book that I would highly recommend.